Mr. Speaker, we've just had a perfect example of a shameful demonstration of patriotism. A most unpatriotic address, not to this House only, but to the people of Guyana, by one who supposedly is remunerated to perform the duties of leader of the opposition in this House. Mr. Speaker, a House divided cannot stand. And what we had there was a perfect example of an attempt to divide the people of Guyana. The phrase, "a house divided cannot stand," is a proverb that means an entity, like a family, organization, or country with internal conflicts and disagreements will weaken and fail. We shall not be weakened and fail as a nation, Mr. Speaker. Our people are united on this cause. The only people who seems to have a difference and unpatriotic is the leader of the opposition, and perhaps those who are following him. That's right. And they will be left behind. They will be left behind as we seek to defend Guyana and to develop Guyana. Mr. Speaker, the sovereignty of Guyana over its internationally recognized territory is crucial for maintaining peace and stability, not only in Guyana, but in the whole Latin American and Caribbean region. And it is important, Mr. Speaker, for Guyana's government and citizens alike to support and uphold this sovereignty to ensure national unity and international respect. Mr. Speaker, if the members of the opposition just surf social media, they will see that through the length and breadth of Guyana today, our school children at nursery, primary, and secondary levels are demonstrating the patriotism that the opposition should have been demonstrating. Our children know better than those who are paid to keep the government on its toes. They're paid as elected officials to represent the opposition. And our children today are sending a strong message to those members of the opposition that we know 83,000 square miles belongs to all of us in Guyana, resident in Guyana and in the diaspora. The only people who seems not to know that and not ready to support that are the people who just left this house, walked out of this house, and perhaps is downstairs awaiting the bell to take lunch. Mr. Speaker, the leader of the opposition talked about the Geneva Convention and Mr. Forbes Samson Barnum, the then Prime Minister, signing that convention. What he didn't tell this House is that Mr. Barnum did not consult anyone, none of the stakeholders, none of the Guyanese, none of the opposition leaders at the time. He just went ahead and signed. Mr. Speaker, we have come a far way from those undemocratic practices. This country was returned to democracy in 1992 after 28 years of undemocratic rule by the same Lyndon Forbes Samson Barnum government. Mr. Speaker, those, according to a famous philosopher, those who forget the past are condemned to repeat it. Mr. Speaker, as a people, as a government, collectively, we must never forget the past. And therefore, we will not be condemned to repeat repeating those undemocratic practices of the PNC, now redressed as APNU, with their partners, the AFC. That formed the last government, a reminder of the undemocratic rule in Guyana. Mr. Speaker, they were democratically elected in 2015, but we had 5 years of undemocratic rule by the APNU, AFC in Guyana. 5 years of executive lawlessness. And that is the only reason why they could come to this house and tell us that they are not supporting this motion. Mr. Speaker, in draft, this motion was submitted through the right course or the right channels to the Chief Whip, requesting that they read the draft, that they submit their amendments, and that they support a joint motion before this House. In the House today, we had a leader of the opposition who came and said he did not see the draft of the motion. The motion was submitted in keeping with the deadline without the value of any amendment and any support by the opposition. But yet, posted on social media was a diatribe from the leader of the opposition on the motion that the entire country is red and obviously is in total disagreement with. Mr. Speaker, we have a people's militia. We may have had a name change to the Guyana National Reserve, but it remains in essence a case of every citizen being allowed to be a soldier, every citizen to be allowed to defend Guyana. And Mr. Speaker, the Guyana National Reserve is as strong as it has ever been in any time in Guyana. And these are the information that the leader of the opposition must come to this House with. Mr. Speaker, we have an ongoing PR campaign. And if you listen to the man in the street, the bus or minibus or bus driver, the hire car driver, the maid, the school children, today in Guyana, the market vendor, today in Guyana, every Guyanese is better informed about the Guyana-Venezuela controversy than any other time before in Guyana. Perhaps more than the opposition. Mr. Speaker, every year around independence, we have a set of national-oriented activities to celebrate our independence. And this year is no exception. We are celebrating our 59th anniversary of independence. We have flag raising, which will be held in Region 6. We have Flag Day, which will be held tomorrow. The opposition was asked to get on board by no other than yours truly, Mr. Speaker. And they refused. And yet they come to this House and try to tell us that we're keeping them out and we're a police state. We're undemocratic. Mr. Speaker, this is the same opposition that lost the election in 2020 and tried to barefacedly hold on to power. They have attempted to rig the election, an election that was observed by observers not only from CARICOM, from the OAS, and from wider far the international community, including the EU. the Commonwealth, the EU. Mr. Speaker, we spent 5 months agreeing to a recount that verified everything that we had suspected as a people. That the opposition, who was then in government, was attempted to rig the election, to continue in office as a undemocratic government. And yet they come in this house today to tell us that we are a police state. Mr. Speaker, it's obvious that they live in an alternate universe. 5 years and counting. Mr. Speaker, in moving the motion, our Minister of Foreign Affairs would have given the history of this whole controversy. As a nation, we had went through 27 years of the good officer process. We have kept this controversy within the confines of the United Nations Secretary General purview to find a solution to this matter. We've had 27 years from 1990 to 2017 of the good officers process. In 2018, the UN Secretary General determined that the good officers process had not resolved the territorial dispute between Guyana and Venezuela. And thus, Mr. Speaker, Venezuela's determination to uphold this conflict persists to this day. Mr. Speaker, it was the United Nations Secretary General that referred the matter to the International Court of Justice to determine the validity of the claim. Guyana has dutifully filed a request with the ICJ in that regard. Venezuela's claim at the time was that Guterres had exceeded his authority, the same authority that had been relied upon and trusted for 27 years during the good officers process, and further refused to recognize the ICJ jurisdiction. Mr. Speaker, Guyana continued to follow the rule of law and invoke Article 53 of the ICJ statute, allowing the court to rule in their favor if one party failed to participate. In December 2020, the court established its jurisdiction in the case. We are well aware, Mr. Speaker, that in this current time, much of Venezuela's contention stems from Guyana's growing oil and gas industry, following the world-class oil discoveries in Guyana's territorial waters. Venezuela's claim includes the waters of the Essequibo, where much of those oil discoveries exist. In its most recent development, Venezuela's unlawful persistence is seen in the unanimous approval by the Venezuelan National Authority for a referendum that you heard was held in 2023. Mr. Speaker, we want to emphasize that Venezuela's refusal to accept the 1899 award and its ongoing hostile actions and insistence on acting in opposition to the award's provisions erode the fundamental principles of international law. Upholding these principles, Mr. Speaker, is crucial for preserving global peace, security, and stability. Mr. Speaker, a statement made in September 2023, the CARICOM community voiced deep concerns regarding Venezuela's threat to use force against Guyana's licensed operations in its waters, describing it as a process, and Mr. Speaker, demanding peaceful conflict resolution in keeping with the principles of peaceful resolution of conflict. Mr. Speaker, support was also provided by the European Union, who also expressed confidence in the ICJ authority in settling this matter and urged parties to avoid unilateral actions that could escalate the situation. Mr. Speaker, we deeply appreciate the solidarity and understanding demonstrated by the international community, the international bodies, their unwavering confidence in pursuing a lawful and peaceful path, along which their recognition of the ICJ jurisdiction is a clear endorsement of the shared values of justice, fairness, and the rule of law that unite us all. As democratic nations of the world, we remain steadfast, and they must remain steadfast in upholding the sanctity of sovereign borders and the principles governing international relations. Mr. Speaker, we did in the past, and we again today call upon the international community to continue their support for our just cause. We urge all nations to recognize that this issue transcends a bilateral dispute. It is about upholding the international legal order and the principles that bind us all. It's about ensuring that justice triumphs over aggression and intimidation. Mr. Speaker, as a country, as a people, we must together urge Venezuela's current government to respect the ICJ process. The ICJ remains an impartial and reputable institution. The ICJ is well equipped to objectively assess the situation and ensure a fair resolution. We also, as a nation, maintain our trust in the rule of law and have confidence that the ICJ will uphold the principles of justice and respect for sovereignty. Mr. Speaker, Guyana know and have denounced unlawful acts to illegally elect a government for Guyana Essequibo. Mr. Speaker, to elect a governor for Guyana Essequibo is unlawful because the state Guyana Essequibo does not exist. There is no such state in Guyana. Venezuela has not demonstrated or exercised any political or legal control and jurisdiction over such a state, since it does not exist in Guyana. A state that has no legal status in the sovereign state of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. Instead, Mr. Speaker, what we have are elected officials at the regional democratic level that exercise political and legal control over the entire Essequibo in the 10 administrative regions, and those regions that comprise or shares that part of Guyana known as Essequibo. Regions 1, Regions 2, Region 3, Region 6, Region 7, Region 8, and Region 9. We have 7 regional chairmen and regional democratic councils that exercise political jurisdiction over the Essequibo region. And so it is, and so it shall be. Mr. Speaker, the seas of Guyana's territory would amount to the grave international crime of aggression. It is essential to understand that neither a government nor its people, under international law, possess the authority to seize, annex, or encroach upon the territory of another nation. International law strongly prohibits such actions. Guyana formally rejects Venezuela's persistent attempts to undermine the sovereignty and integrity of our nation. Mr. Speaker, from 2020, we have commenced a structured recapitalization of our defense force to enhance our defense of Guyana, to better define aggression on our borders, both land and maritime borders. Mr. Speaker, this recapitalization is ongoing and has increased our security of our western border. This recapitalization, along with increased security cooperation with our hemispheric and international partners, has led us today to be better able to exercise enhanced maritime domain awareness and increase surveillance on our western frontiers. Mr. Speaker, one would expect that defense, being a bipartisan issue, if there are any doubts in the minds of the opposition, they should discuss it at the forum that is defined and organized for such discussion, and not to come into this House and to try to condemn the government for not doing enough for the Guyana Defense Force. We have, and I'm speaking here as a member of the Defense Board, we have, in a sustained manner, in a sustained and democratic approach, listened to the Defense Force and has provided the necessary budgetary support for their continued development and expansion and recapitalization to better able to define aggression on our frontiers. Mr. Speaker, the endurance of this controversy has been excessive, and Venezuela's unrelenting pursuit of unfounded territorial claims not only insults our nation, but also undermines the cherished principles of justice and sovereignty held by the international community. Mr. Speaker, all Guyana and all Guyanese at home and in the diaspora must continue to denounce these actions with the utmost strength and urge the global community to stand by us as we pursue a peaceful and equitable resolution through the International Court of Justice. Together, we will secure the triumph of justice and preserve our nation's sovereignty. Mr. Speaker, again, as I started, I must end by saying a house divided cannot stand. As a nation, we are not and must never be divided on this important issue of our sovereignty. And on that point, Mr. Speaker, I want to end by saying I support this motion reaffirming the sovereignty of Guyana over its internationally recognized territory, all 83,000 square miles. Essequibo belongs to Guyana. Essequibo belongs to us. Our Essequibo. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.